Welcome to Jackie's Craft Table. Welcome back to my blog and YouTube channel. Today I'm using a fun stamp set from Clearly Besotted. This is one of their newer stamp sets. I'm stamping all of the images with some Versamark ink, and then I'm going to heat emboss them with my white Hero Arts embossing powder. I absolutely love lilies, and I have them out in my garden. I'm a sucker for stamp sets that match the flowers that I have growing outside in my garden. I'm pouring on my new favorite white embossing powder, and then I'm going to heat this with my heating tool. The images are kind of hard to see because they're white on white cardstock, but I'm pulling out my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers here. I'm going to play with them a little bit more today. Coloring in these images made me take a closer look at the flowers outside, and I hadn't noticed this before, but they do have a lot of green at the centers. So I'm starting with some yellow-green, color 053 here, and then I'm blending it out with a bright yellow, 052. I'm also using my Zig water brush to gently blend them together. These Zig marker colors are so bright and vibrant, it was the perfect medium to color in these bright lilies. The coloring went really quickly too because of the raised lines from the heat embossing, kind of contained the color while I was coloring them in. Next I'm moving on to my yellow lily, and I used the same yellow-green 053 marker for the center, and then I blended it out with yellow 052. For the green stripes down the middle, I used just the green color, 040, and I will have all of the colors I use listed at my blog. I'm using the same technique here as I did with the orange lily. I'm just putting down the green and then blending it in with the yellow. And then at the very tips of the flowers, I use my Zig water brush to kind of blend that out. I move on to the lily buds, or the smaller lilies, and I'm just using the bright yellow for that. The marker's called bright yellow, but it's very orangey. And I'm making these a bit darker. I also used the yellow-green for my pink lilies, and for the pink color it's just pink 025, and then at the tips I blended out with a sugared almond pink. I purchased the set of 60 Zig markers, and I do wish I had actually purchased the 80. I love all the colors, they're so fun. The sugared almond pink I actually had to buy separately. The set of 60 didn't come with enough pink markers to suit my likes. I absolutely love how the pink lily turned out. It's so bright. I purchased the coordinating dies for this set. When I find a floral stamp that I just love, I like to buy the dies for it as well. I'm not that great of a fussy cutter, I'm afraid. I run these through my Sizzix Big Shot machine, and it leaves a darling white border around the edges. I'm cutting out a piece of watercolor paper using a square scallop die. This is where my sentiment is going to go, but first I'm going to ink it up with some distress ink. I'm using wild honey, and I'm gently blending that onto my paper. I want the ink to be kind of light so that my stamped sentiment shows up really well. I'm going to hold it with a piece of scrap paper so that my fingerprints don't end up in the ink. I'm using some Neenah Solar White 110-pound cardstock to make my card base, and it's going to be a top folding card. I'm using my bone to score it and then to smooth out the fold. I'm pulling out my Penny Black Sweet Wishes stamp set here. I use this a lot. I'm going to be using the sentiment, "It's Your Special Day." I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black Pigment ink and my Mini Misty to stamp out this sentiment. I'm also going to stamp out the little stem from this Clearly Besotted set with the little flowers on it, right under my sentiment. I'm wiping away the ink that I got onto the door of the Misty. I love this ink, but I tend to get it all over my fingers and everywhere it shouldn't be. I have a cute pad of patterned paper I purchased at my local craft store, and I'm just looking through some of the patterns to see which one I want to use for my card. I'm going to cut out this piece of patterned paper with my die. It's 5.5 by 4.25 inch. Now I can start assembling all of the pieces to my card. I'm taping down my sentiment with my tape runner. And more of the same for my card base. I'm using mounting squares for the 3 larger lilies. The smaller lilies I'm just taping down flat onto the card with my tape runner. For some sparkle for the card, I'm pulling out my Spectrum Noir Clear Sparkle Pen. This brush reactivates the watercolor, so I have to wipe off the brush in between coloring the different flowers. I have some sequins from Little Things from Lucy's cards, and it's called Pineapple Ice, and I'm just pulling out the yellow ones to place around my card. That will complete my card. Thank you so much for watching. Until my next video, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye!